Hello, dearest friends, dearest beautiful co-creator souls of love and light. This is Nanari, Princess of the Sea, coming to you with a new video. And this video is a special video to go with the videos that I have just recently done here on YouTube and on Facebook regarding the F word, that word of fear. It is going to be a sharing of my own personal journey as well as the wisdom from the Master Artist, Source, God, Love itself on the journey. And this is a special video because this is a subject that I have actually yet to see any videos on. Perhaps there may be videos out there, I just have not seen it. And I've had several twin soul couples who are in that heart connection resonance, who have come to me in distress and have gone through such experiences as I have with my twin soul in this regard. And so I want to share a little bit about my journey and our journey, my twin soul and I, as well as some upliftment and support for those who are also on this path. So what has actually been occurring and what this video is about, if you noticed, the title of it is called Holding a Vision and Taking Action. And the reason is because we live in a paradigm right now where a lot of twin soul couples and people who are in heart-centered connections or sacred unions, whatever you so choose to call such, are having to deal with things having to do with borders. Now, on a personal note, in sharing my own story with my own twin soul, through a series of events that happened a year and a half ago now, and also a little bit before this, the paradigm that is such is that I am currently back in the States and free from being at home in Canada, and the only reason that I'm able to go back would be if my twin soul came here and married me and then sponsored me home. Now, there are several twin souls that I know of that are actually going through this, and I've been given permission to share their stories, and I will make a brief mention of another one as well that I know of, that I'm connected to in this realm, because the situation that we have with our borders is something that is keeping twin souls apart in a physical resonance. Now, what has happened is that there tends to be a sense of fear that goes along with it. Now, on the path with my twin soul, what has occurred is that there seems to be fear surrounding him coming here. Now, my twin soul, I have shared with him, he was actually born here in the States, and so he has dual citizenship. And so because of that, I have shared with him they cannot deny him entry to come here. He also has family here in the States as well, and so they cannot deny him to come back to his country of origin, which I found out through going through what I went through a year and a half ago. And so the other issue that seems to be coming to light in fear for him is the situation in which over the last couple of years he has been spiritually active in spiritual activism, and he has posted some rather questionable quotes about the government and things of that nature, and so he fears that he is on some sort of a NSA list or what have you. And you know, for any of you who know about the Edward Snowden thing, knowing that, you know, we are all in some form or fashion being watched anyway, and then we just recently had Bill C-51 pass at home in Canada, and so there is this sense of fear that my twin soul has revolving around all of this. And so I have shared with him that, you know, I am here for him and I hold him in that space of love and compassion, but really his fears are simply unfounded because when, as I've shared in my other previous videos, the last 3 videos, when you are sitting in a resonance of fear, you are either projecting out into the past something that has happened that you are afraid will happen again, or you are projecting into the future afraid of that thing happening again and reflecting from a past experience rather than being in the now moment. So I usually bring him back to the present moment, and I remind him both of two things. One is what I had just shared, which is the fact that he was actually born here in the States, and therefore he can come here without any issue because he was born here and he cannot be denied entry to go to his home country. And then also, if he has a valid passport, that he can, go back home to Canada without any issue. And so truthfully, now, the other thing I will share before I get into that truthfully matter, the other thing that I will share is that I explained to him that someone such as Neil Young is quite a bit more vocal as far as his spiritual activism than my twin soul will ever be. And yet Neil Young comes between the States and Canada all the time and around the world. In fact, he's just getting ready, I believe, to launch another tour and a new album of spiritual activism songs that are way more in the face of the government and whatnot in terms of that. And so really, it's about my twin soul coming into this resonance of feeling safe and comfortable to come across. Now, he's also concerned because of what happened in my experience with the issue that I had in immigration, that, something might happen to him similar. And again, this is a different scenario as opposed to me going there, him coming here. His country of origin is actually here. So again, he cannot be denied. And so I'm placing this out for those twin souls, and I know there are many, and I also want to share the stories of the other twin souls that I know of. But truthfully, the essence of this all is that we are to vision having no borders. Because the truth of the matter is, and if you go and do some research into this, if you look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which I did my own research on this a year and a half ago when I had the immigration issues that I did. It specifically says in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that we have a God-given right to live where we choose. And so the laws that are inactivated, while in some form or fashion are meant to protect us and countries and whatnot, this brings about a sense of separation and a sense of competition, a sense of keeping people who love one another apart. And this was not always the case. I found out in my research that really it has been just in the last 40 years, since the 70s, basically, late 70s, beginning of the 80s, that this occurred in Canada, but that really it has been since the inactivation of everything that happened in 9/11 in a form of controlling the masses and keeping them, so to speak, sequestered, if you will, that has made this so it's extremely difficult for people in general to live in another country, let alone twin souls who wish to be together and marry. So 3 stories that I will share with you. The first one briefly of the twin soul couple that I have yet to get in touch with. I do know of a twin soul couple of a woman who is actually here in the States, and then her twin soul is in Scotland, and both of them were very spiritually heavy in spiritual activism recently because Scotland was attempting to become a free country and succeed from the UK, and so there was a referendum and things going on in Parliament and things of that nature, and they were very vocal, both of them, about this. Yet this was free from stopping them from continuing the process of getting her to come to Scotland to be with him. The second twin soul couple that I know personally is a couple that is actually in India. He is in India and she is in the States. And so towards the end of this year coming up, the hope and intention is that he will be able to come from India to be with her. Yet it has been a long process they have been through, and a lot of heartache that they have been going through over these last 2 years, being physically apart and being unable to be physically together. And then the last couple, which is actually a success story out of all of this, is my dear friend, and he said that I have permission to utilize his name. He lives at home in Canada, in Van, or Vancouver, as those of you know around the globe. We locals in Canada call it Van. His name is Lawrence, and his wife is Teresa. They are twin souls, and Teresa was actually in the Philippines, and it took a 3-year process, and he himself had to battle with the government and had to jump through many hoops, including, I believe it was towards the end of this, getting a specific attorney to help him out with this, and there was, things he had to do for, as far as his work and money and everything else, all these hoops that he had to jump through. And there was a sense of fear with the twin soul couple, the one who is in India and the States, and I know there was a lot of anger and outrage, and talking with Lawrence a lot on Facebook. He and I, would share a lot of things about his anger and his frustration, and things having to do with the government, and things that the government was doing to keep them apart, and things of that nature, and all the hoops that he had to jump through. And it was a 3-year process that they went through, but finally, I believe it was about 3 months ago now, she just came home to be with him. He was finally able to complete the sponsorship for her to actually come home to Canada to be with him. And so through this whole entire process, what I found was very interesting is that every single one of these twin soul couples, no matter what the fear has been or is, they shift through it. So what is it that has them do this? And also for me, I still hold this space that my twin soul and I will be able to be together, and that a border should not stop us. And so I was wondering what it is in this resonance, this essence of what is it that these twin souls have in common, and what is all in common is holding that vision. Now, it has been said that if you have a vision without action, that is called fantasy. If you have action without a vision, that is chaos. So it's actually to be a balance of both. We are meant to actually have a vision, and then from that beingness of that vision, take the steps in doingness that we are meant to do, that we feel called to do in our heart. And so that's what my friend Lawrence, God bless him, he is a true troubadour of the divine masculine in his beingness and doingness, and I honor him for all of the steps that he took. Even though at moments he wanted to give up, and he was frustrated and he was angry, he never gave up. He knew he was going to bring home Teresa to him. And, she still had faith, even though, she was there in the Philippines, and he would go there and he would visit her when he could, when he had the money to be able to, and whatnot. And so it's this true sense of being in true love. And so my twin soul just today, actually, in fact, did a video on Facebook, and I actually took what he wrote in this, what he said in this video, and typed it all out and put it into 3 different quotes, which I have put on my Facebook in our folder that we have for his troubadour quotes. And I'd like to read to you some of what it is that he shared in this video, because it's very, very key in importance for taking this step in being fully committed, which goes back to my video that I just did before this one, having to do with fear of commitment and getting out of the F word and stepping into that resonance of love. And what he shared in the video was that a true warrior, a true hero, lays down his weapons and destroys them, and perhaps turns them into weapons for gardening. And a true hero then goes to his so-called enemies defenseless, and he says, we are brothers and sisters on this one earth, and how can we live in peace together? I'm here to love you, to completely open my heart to you in peace, nurturing, supporting you. How can I remove fear from you and bring comfort? Can I help you with your garden? Can I help restore that in your world which was lost? And so then he goes on in his video to talk about being that sense of love, compassion, mercy, new visions, supporting, caring for one another, and that this is really what true wealth is. And that a true teacher teaches from the experience of what it is to be in that truth of the heart and the soul, knowing that only through love and through the eyes of love can that be possible. And how we are bringing a new earth into being. And at this time, what is now required of us is to hold that vision for the new earth and what it looks like, of no borders. And he goes on to share some other things of what the new earth is meant to be like. And that he really is encouraging us to bring in the new earth, and how it starts from within us being that love, and then moving forward, being in that resonance, that vibration of love itself, of source itself, of the master artist, God, spirit, whatever you choose to call it, and then acting from that, taking action from that, whatever is to be done. So I invite my twin soul, since he just did this video, I invite him to be in this resonance, because that is how we as twin souls are to make it through despite a border. Because while it is wonderful and beautiful to hold that vision, John Lennon speaks of it in Imagine. Imagine there are no countries. He in essence was saying, imagine there are no borders. And so it is beautiful for us to hold that vision, that there are no borders. And yet at the same moment, we still live in this earthly paradigm that requires us to be surrounded in borders. And so within that, in taking action in love, love in action, from that resonance that my twin soul spoke of so beautifully and eloquently, that I honor him for, from that beingness comes the doing. People like Lawrence did that doing action, in which he did whatever was necessary within the paradigm of the borders that's presented to us to bring his twin soul Teresa home. The twin soul couple that I spoke of, the one who's in India and the other one in the States, they are doing and being whatever is required of them within the paradigm of the fact that there are borders, whatever paperwork needs to be filled out, whatever, fees need to be paid, whatever essence that they need to do. And I know my other friends who are the twin soul couple, one in the States and one in Scotland, are doing the same thing. And there are twin souls and heart connections and soulmates and other relationships who are in this same position. And this is why I felt so called to do this video, because it's not something that's really talked about much. And so I'm inviting my twin soul, because I am always in this essence with him of how can we live in peace together. I'm here, just like his song, I'm here. I'm here to love you, my twin soul, my dearest beloved sweet troubadour. I'm here to completely open my heart to you in peace, nurturing and supporting you. How can I remove this fear from you and bring comfort so that you can cross over that border and come here to be with me? Can I help you with your garden? Ricky Byers-Beckwith sings this song that I believe it was Ricky and Michael Beckwith who wrote this together, to drop down the weapons and plant a tree of love. So my twin soul is talking about planting a garden. How can we plant a garden together, my love, my dearest beloved sweet troubadour? Because the deepest truth is that there is nothing stopping you, my dearest beloved sweet troubadour, from coming here to be with me. The only thing that is stopping you is your own fear. And I hold you in this fear, knowing that you can shift through this, because there is nothing that will stop you and can stop you at all from coming here other than your own fears. And as I have shared with you, it is unfair to ask me to just be in a text, an email, and an occasional phone call only union with you. That is free from being what true love is. True love is with the ones that we love. And so many twin souls are going through that, and so many loved ones are going through that, where they cannot be with the ones that they love. And so when there is no legitimate reason why we cannot be with the ones we love, it is important. My dear friend Sunny just did a video on his Facebook about this, in which he talked about keeping death close to you, in the sense of, you know, you never know when you're going to go. You never know when your last breath is going to be. And to take the time to tell the ones that you love them, and to show them, and to be with the ones that you love physically. And being with the ones that we love physically is so important. And so, my dearest twin soul, I invite you to move through this fear and come into the arms of love, to shift the F word from it being something that you're afraid of, and come into the arms of love and forget all of those things that are fears, and rise into the beloved sweet troubadour that I know you are. To be able to come over the border and to do and be just like Lawrence did in bringing his wife home, and the other twin soul couples and other people who are doing this and taking those steps, because I know you can do and be this, because you are that amazing soul. Can I help restore in your world that what was lost? All of the hurt and the pain. And this is how we as twin souls are there for each other and support one another. Because when we truly love someone, and we are in that place of true, divine, unconditional love, we will move heaven and earth to be with that which is love. And so for all of you twin souls who are struggling through this, or anyone here on this earth who are struggling with not being able to be with your family because of a border, not being able to be with the one you love because of a border, I encourage you and invite you, and in whatever way from that resonance of being love, that you can be and do whatever love in action calls you to do, until we come into that resonance where there are no borders. Whatever you feel being guided by your heart to do in love, do. Nurture and support one another. For this is how we bring in the new earth. Through the eyes of love, we can change this, because it requires both a vision and action. May your heart be guided by love, and may your songs echo this same heart. I love you all. And if you have a story that you would like to share, either a success story, such as my friend Lawrence and his wife, Teresa, where you have brought your loved one home, your twin soul home, your heart connection home, or a family member, or if you're struggling and you need to reach out and need some support, require some support on the journey, please feel free to contact me. My email address is Nenari, Nenari, @diamondlady.net, or you can reach me on my website at diamondlady.net. I also provide spiritual mentoring for twin souls and people around the world, as that is my doing my part in bringing in the new earth. So while there are still borders, and I hold that vision for no borders, I am still doing my part to help uplift, inspire, nurture, support all here on this earth who come to me from my being love within. And it starts from being love within, as my twin soul said. And then I be that love with him. And then I be that love with all, in union with Source, in union with my twin soul. So may you be this love now, and may all of our hearts be guided by love, and may our songs echo this same heart. I love you all. Espavo.